pretty much in relationships for a while now, actually, right? Like a few years, 3, 4 years plus. So I just really wanted to think about it. I have a couple of single friends who were just talking about their experiences in the dating world and really like just like how complicated it is these days, like with the online dating platforms and everything. But like just giving a different perspective for people who are looking to get in a relationship, what they can expect, or who are just starting to date. So I really just wanted to touch on just like we've all made it past, you know how they say in the honeymoon phase when you first started dating a person and you everything's perfect, you guys laugh at each other's jokes, you guys get along and a perfect match, and sometimes you can't even find anything wrong to have an argument or anything with. And then you get past that, get to year 2, sometimes 3, and then you start to kind of really see kind of the layers are revealed, and that can sometimes be for better or for worse. And so as people who have been in relationships for a while now, I think it is helpful to see some guys, some black guys in general, just to get their perspective on navigating in that phase of when you pass that honeymoon area and then you get into those rough patches, like how to navigate that. So just wanted to hear y'all perspective on it.
You were very nice by saying you get to that point in like year 2 where shit don't be.
Sometimes that's 6 months shit.
Yeah, 6 months usually. 6 months, yeah. Shoot, it could be shorter than that. Not for me. I'm just saying in general, like nah, because like you say like within that year or 2 everything is difficult. Sometimes after you hit that first 90 days, it's like your performance review of work, nigga. After that,
it's like saying 90
get real difficult. Hit that 90 days.
You're not getting a good evaluation.
Nah, you hit that 90 days and then things get real. I think that's like the biggest thing that is like. The biggest thing, like, that's one of the biggest things is like you see is just like, when you get in a relationship with somebody, it's like, it's cool at first, but then it's just like when you start to see how things pick up and how difficult certain things be, it kind of does just like really, it can be jarring, things just really pick up, and when you start to really learn about somebody and the difficulties. I don't live with my girlfriend, so full disclosure there, but I mean, it's just like all the things that you learn about a person, and then like things that you didn't know that may be a problem, or things that you just like, didn't know about them at first, and things that you just learn along the way and all those type of things, they just pick up and you just start to learn about them, and then sometimes you don't really like them, but I mean, then it becomes like one of those things where it's like, okay, damn, well, how do we talk about this now? Because that's also like the biggest thing they always say about relationship is communication. So you gotta sit there and explain to a nigga, I don't like that you put your milk in the bowl before the cereal. That kind of pisses me off sometimes when you do that. It makes me very upset.
An excuse to break up with a young.
Bro,
no, it be a little petty shit,
but that's what it is. Like little things. Like you ain't ever just look at something your girl do, you be like, this little thing right here pisses me off so much. And it's like something that it doesn't have to be a big thing in the world. Maybe like I don't know, maybe the nigga blows her nose too loud or something like that. I don't know.
Or smacks when she eats, something like that.
Bro, yeah, it's a little stupid thing. It's like a little stupid thing. So it's like, all those type of things, they just like, I don't know, they start to add up. So it's one of those really interesting situations in life when you like finally start to hit like little, I think you said like rough patches, stuff like that. I think it's like little, I think like there's like big rough patches, but I think like in general there are plenty of little like potholes in the road that you hit along the way until you just finally hit a big old ditch. You don't gotta hit the big.
I'm about to say.
Nah, isn't that what it is? I mean, it does everybody hit a ditch. You hit a ditch, but I mean it's plenty of little potholes along the way that wake you up.
Yeah, man.
To how the situation really is.
Yeah, it's just interesting because a lot of people when they get to those periods, like it's almost like a shock because like you're in the first stages, you're like, hey, everything's perfect. Like you like when me and my girl, for example, got together, like we didn't argue about anything. Like there's literally nothing wrong. Like best of friends and all that good stuff. And then like you start to see different things and like you said, like stuff that annoys you. And then a lot of people, I think, not especially in today's era where everything's supposed to like online and people are just looking for these quick kind of things to work out and these picture perfect relationships, like are caught off guard by that. Like when you do hit a rough patch and sometimes leave. So like I think like it is an interesting perspective to hear from guys who have been, I would hope, past those points, and those rough patches are always going to come back. That's one thing that I realized that my parents had mentioned before too. Like it's always going to be something. It's always going to be some issues. Like long-term relationships are never like perfect. Like you guys want to have disagreements. You guys want to have stuff you don't agree about, but it's about moving past those. So Cole, how about your experience with?
So like, what do you mean by rough patch? Like, what do you mean? Like, just like,
it's all in the word. Like things isn't getting
we're talking about smacking and just like pet peeve stuff. Are we talking about like like a fucking iceberg.
All right, well let's expand.
Oh,
it.
you mean the big ditch?
Yeah, it can be a big ditch, it can be a little ditch. But I'm saying like anything like from little things that bother you that there's some things that bother you that you just can't like stand in that time. But there's also some things like communication isn't going as well, or sex isn't going as well, or like you know how when people first start dating it's like rabbits, like fucking every whatever. But then like later that obviously kind of well sometimes it'll die down a little bit, or you have low moments when things are awkward or something like that. So just those rough patches in general, like how to really conflict resolution with your girl.
I mean, contract. I mean, there's shit that's systemic in a relationship and stuff that can be changed. Systemic things are things that you can't change about your partner. It's just who they are. Like,
right.
Your partner is messy if they're like they like to argue naturally. They just do things that generally annoy you. But I also kind of think though, like if you're gonna be in a relationship with that point with somebody, even if like you can say it's a honeymoon phase, I think you should be able to see like just in interactions like things that like red flags.
Right.
And I think that's a key. Like before you even get to that point in your relationship, that when you see red flags, you take notes of red flags. Like instead of trying to, oh yeah, well she doesn't have a job, and not anything wrong. Not just anything wrong with having a job, because like we're looking where we are currently in society, but like there's no ambition. I'm doing XYZ in my career. She's kind of cool, just being stagnant. She doesn't take care of herself the way I think she could. But if you're a fat ass and the sex is great, well, I mean, shit, man.
Right, like shit.
I think these are things that I feel like there shouldn't be big surprises when you finally are with somebody. Like if there are, I think that's kind of like you have to sit there and reevaluate. Like shit, what was I looking at?
Right.
Everything's on 180 from where it was when we were in the talking phase. Because yes, everything is good at that point. I mean, when you're talking to somebody, you're not going to be living with them, so you see them maybe once or twice a week for the most part. Probably less if we're talking about current times. So everything is
awesome. The words of the Lego movie.
Yeah, well, but like everything is like sterilized. Everything is like how it's supposed to be. Everybody's on their best behavior. Right. Everything's on their best behavior. So it's just like, oh, I'm gonna see this person twice a week. For that twice a week, maybe I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna have my house cleaned up. I'm gonna have my shit slicked to the side. Whatever. Whatever.
Now you just like Chuck Berry.
I'm gonna put a little design in my people. Like whatever, man. Like it's like I'm
roadmap.
Come on in.
This man got the arrow.
Basically, you're not playing a character, but you're taking who you are and you're either toning it down a notch,
or the best version of who you are.
Turning it up a notch, depending on whatever, right? Right. So
that's
like,
exhausting.
I don't know what to say. So like we're talking about just like little robot. Like you should be able to see. All right, I've been seeing this person a couple times. They do some things that are annoying. They maybe maybe they don't like to fight, but they don't mind.
They're confrontational.
Confrontational with like stupid stuff, which can be annoying personally. I don't like that. They're messy. They're late. Just things that are red flags.
He's also late all the time. So
I mean, shit, yeah, whatever. But
I call it straight earlier. You gonna catch one too.
But like I said, if it depends. If that's a red flag, like shit, I don't know if I can deal with this long term. Well, then you should cut it right there, or let it be known, like, yeah, you're cool, like your ass is cool, all that's cool, but all like the other stuff, I don't know about that. So maybe we can just have a little on the side.
Right.
But we're talking about like real like potholes. Like to me, potholes that are like deal breakers. That's stuff that you won't see until like you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
This is like, oh shit, your exes and your DMs talking about, oh, it's June 4th. Do you remember what June 4th was, or something dumb shit like that? And or you're doing some shit that causes red flags, or you don't want to have well, you know, I want to have 5 kids, but like oh shit, you know, I only have I would have 0 kids or 1 kid. So you guys having fun over there?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to not talk. Damn, I'm listening to you for once.
Guys, a scene.
But
I was actually gonna text him like, hey, see me, bro.
Give me some scene.
But yeah, it depends. It depends on what type of red flags. I mean, like again, any relationship you're into is the unknown, especially when you get into it. But I think like the small shit, the minor shit, you should know about that. Yeah. But whenever you do get in a relationship, you don't know what the real potholes are gonna be or pitfalls. Like, or oh, you don't call your girl, like you go a day without calling your girl, and then oh really? Well, I'm gonna call my ex now. Like just some petty, immature shit like that. Maybe you don't see that until you're in a situation. But I mean, shit like that happens. Yeah. So I mean,
that's like really jumping the gun there.
I'm just saying, like, if you date somebody and like stuff like immaturity, like again, like in small sample sizes, somebody can, you know, I'm gonna be real mature, you know, now, like, we're only gonna be, you pick me up at 8 and, you know, we hang out until like midnight, then I go home, whatever. Well, there's still like how many hours in the day, right? And when you're with somebody 24 hours a day, you can't hide. Like, there's no hiding at that point. So, like, your immaturities come out, your insecurities come out.
But time, I say, makes all insecurities come out. Because even if you don't live with somebody, like I don't live with my girl, but at the same time,
I'm not saying
time makes all that stupid stuff come out. Because like, yo, even if my girl only see me like 2-3 times a week, after like a few years, it's like one of those things where it's like, yo, they do like all of the coverings, all of the masks, all of the like extra stuff. It's all gone. You see who somebody is and all that type of stuff. And you know, I guess. I'm sorry, that was just my point to add on to his. But I guess in like general, like, yo, so how do we just like how do we combat these rough patches? What do you all do? What happens when you have these rough patches? When you run into the ditch the first time, what happens? Like, do you just sit around and say, oh, that was fun and interesting, let's keep driving down this road? Or do you get out the car?
I think what I did or what I think people should do is like take a step back and like, I don't know, man, do it old school, write a pros and cons list, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are things I like about the relationship. These are things that I don't like about the relationship. Is this worth moving forward? You know what I'm saying? Do I see myself, you know, like, without this person? Do I see myself with someone else? You know, these are, like, real, like, tough questions that you got to ask yourself. And it's for the benefit for both you and your partner, because the last thing you want to do is push forward on something that doesn't work for you, or, you know, lead somebody on to think that it works for them. So, excuse me, you gotta have like an open communication with that, and you gotta just kind of just fight through that. Like, it's gonna be awkward. It's gonna be, you know, some people's feelings are gonna be hurt, but you kind of have to have that open conversation, because the longer you wait, the worse it's gonna get. So
but what's the ditch though, right? Like, is it ditch is like a 6-inch ditch in your car, your back wheel stuck, and you gotta 4-wheel drive out? I mean, or did you just drive into a fucking?
You drove into a pile.
Drive into a viper's nest with like razor sharp teeth and shit, and the quicksand.
You drove into the joint that pops one of your tires, and you stuck on the side of the road for a little bit. So you're really trying to figure out what's my next.
What's your scenario?
All right, so like, let's just say I'm trying to figure out a good scenario. Like, let's say, like you said about the whole thing about somebody being confrontational. Let's say that you find out that you date somebody who likes to argue far more than you. Like, you just date somebody. Like me personally, I'm a very mellow individual. I don't argue with any woman. I basically say, yo, look, if you got something to say to me and you about to yell about it, I'm not doing it. Like, you could yell if you want. I'm gonna listen to you, but I don't go back and forth with anybody. I just don't. So it's like, what do you do in that situation? Like what I was gonna say about even what Malik said, in general, that whole like pros and cons list, I'm not against it, but what I've learned from like my previous experiences in life was just whatever I want in the moment, I will make that list work so that I get what I want. If I feel like I want to stay with that person, I'm not. That's just subconscious. Like, if you stuck on 7, if you stuck on like 7 to 7 in terms of should I go, should I leave? In my mind, I know exactly that I can find something number 8 like, yo, she's always on time. We going
right. Just to put it over there.
This to make it go where you want it to go. It takes a level of honesty that you really got to have with yourself in order to make those decisions, like you just said. But that's just kind of one of those things. But it's like, you know, if you have like, but just one of those type of situations that Aaron, it's just like, yo, you dating somebody and you just find they have a personality trait that you yourself just really can't live with just based on who you are as an individual.
Right.
Like for me, it would just be somebody that's just combative and wants to argue. I just don't do that. Like I know I'm not an arguer. I'm more of a I'm gonna go with the flow, so I'm not gonna be any fun for you. That's kind of why I just tell people up front, look, if you want to argue, I ain't your nigga. But you know, for some people it works. Some niggas like to argue, some niggas don't. I'm not. So I mean, like let's just say you found a girl and it was, I don't know what a personality trait you dislike is. So you figure that out for yourself and just go from there.
There's a couple things. We all have like different things that bother us differently. Like sometimes it's like when, like you know, sometimes when I get into like when I have stuff that bothers me, I don't always express that. I don't always say it, and my girl sometimes the same way, and so things don't really get resolved, and so they're let to fester. But like when we do talk about it, I like to talk about it all there, like let it all out then. But whereas she kind of likes to walk away and like take some time, so stuff like that becomes hard to reconcile certain issues, and that can be a problem at first. Like when you're when you're in these rough patches and you're trying to talk through them, especially if you're putting yourself out there trying to communicate, and they have a different style of like on one end, just like Dante said with the combative argument, and on another end, it's like the lack of communication and walking away from a situation, and then maybe come back when you're ready, or like just different senses of timing. I think that's kind of like different things that can bring rough patches into your relationship. But I think like to answer your earlier question, I think one thing that Malik mentioned is having open communication and saying things from the jump. And I don't know about y'all, but like usually when, like I was saying, like when things I notice little things that bother me at first, I don't always say something. I kind of just watch. I like to watch and see like kind of how things progress, but that sometimes can turn into much bigger issues. Because then when you get into those arguments, when you get into those rough patches, everything comes out, and it's like
why didn't you say that?
Right? Why didn't you say that at first? And it's like so many things like that happen in these long-term relationships are from things that were early on that people didn't talk about, like from the jump. And so I think it's important to have that open communication early. Hindsight's 20/20. Shout out to that.
Yeah, so communication is that's always key. That's key in any situation. But what I will say, I mean, I don't think that's a one size fits all. Like,
I don't know.
I don't know. I think communication it's kind of like, communicate. Like, but if the most common relationship issues is either someone is cheating or it's a financial situation, like. Just being open and honest, like that's like, oh, I cheated on you. Oh, thanks. That sucks. You know what I mean? Like,
can you text
it's like, or text it, or damn, you know, we.
Cheated last night.
Yes. Or
sorry.
Or
thank you.
I want to move in together. Oh yeah, let's move together. And so security deposit is $2,500. Okay, cool. So when are you gonna have your half? Damn, yeah, just got.
Well, you don't have no ambition and shit, like.
Just got laid off from the toothpick factory, so.
Just gonna stay home and play games.
Know, but
wait, that's a bad job there?
well, I just don't think it's very lucrative.
Hey man, do you own that business?
You
own it some type of way?
I'm about to say
if you're just cleaning the excess toothpicks off the ground, I'm not sure how lucrative that is.
I am head sweeper at the toothpick factory. Go
but
ahead,
my point is, like, the situations like that, like communication is key, but it's kind of like, again, when you have issues in a relationship, it's either it's something minor, this is something we can work on, or if it's something major, this is like, all right, I need to make a decision, like XYZ, what's gonna happen. Like, if oh shit, man, it's been. Like, we've been living together 3 months, and I thought we were going to be splitting the cooking responsibilities up, and you've cooked like 3 times. I've cooked every other day. Something like that, you can talk that out, right? Like, whatever. Like, or from a woman's point of view, maybe, oh shit, I've been cleaning the house, and I thought it was going to be kind of like a 50-50 proposition. Like,
I found your drawers on the
it's about 87-13 right now.
Right.
You can talk that out.
Right.
But like real shit like that, like it's not just talking as much as it's like you have to have action. Like it's got to be, all right, shit. You make $3.50 an hour. The electric bill is way higher than that. I'm just.
I know, I got you.
bringing out
Poor
examples.
Poor niggas.
And my point is, something like that. We can talk it out, but we also have to have a plan of action. If I'm making like $75,000 and you make literally minimum wage, well, we can talk that out. But at some point, there has to be an action made. There has to be like an action. Like you need to have a plan of action to be able to cover your portion of the rent and expenses.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes into more so just talking about it. It has to be, all right, you have that job, you make X amount of money. Is it one, because, shit, like we live in a effed up capitalistic society, this is the best you can do. Like you try to go to college, whatever, and XYZ happened to drop out, whatever. Or is it just, whatever, man, I just really like sweeping up these toothpicks, man. Like, you know what I mean?
This feels so good. I'm earning.
And in that case, like, talk it out, but it's kind of be like, shit, man, like, these are what my goals are, these are what your goals are here. Like, we can talk it out, but damn, man, like, if you just want to just do that, I want to do that. Like, you got to worry about, like what you want to do. Right? And... But I also think, like, these are things that you should be able to see, like, before you even get to that place where we're living together, right? You should be able to look at somebody, and when you're getting to know somebody, if y'all at Nobu or somewhere having dinner back when, you were allowed to go outside, and you're talking about life.
I mean, he's getting money from his parents. He's
making
making
$350 an hour. I'm not going Nobu.
Back when we were at Ruby Tuesdays, and you're getting the 3 for
Let us
30,
have
whatever, and you got the salad. And you guys are vibing and talking, and like these are things that I think should be discussed like beforehand. You should be able to have an idea, right? Like, and I don't know. I'm just more so about like action. Like we're having a problem. Oh, there's infidelity issues. Oh, you did XYZ or I did XYZ. So we can talk it out, but that's not going to get solved until probably 6 to 12 months after this, where whoever fucked up has 6 to 12 months of, rehabilitation, where like, oh, I've been squeaky clean, oh, honey, yeah, I deleted my Twitter and my Instagram. Or actually, you can just have the passwords, everything. You can see my DM, you can see my text. I've been a good boy, like that. That's how you solve problems, right?
That's a good point.
Like small things, you can talk that out. You can, oh shit, I'll clean the bathroom on odd weeks. You clean bathroom on even weeks, right? But real shit, like, I mean, I just feel like, I guess, and it might be because the relationship I'm in, I really don't have like those like type of serious roadblock issues. I mean, like we have issues, like we have problems, but it's nothing to the point where I'm just like, damn, I don't know if I see it. I mean, I'm engaged, right? Like clearly, I mean, like I'm basically taking the plunge. So I mean,
all right, something bad. You brought up some of the big. Let's get into the big potholes now. So we talk a lot about redemption on this podcast and making your way back after you fuck up or make a mistake. And so, pause for this pause. This short drink break.
That's moving soon. Okay, go on. Sorry.
But yeah, we talk a lot about redemption and getting back from that. So what are you guys' thoughts on kind of like if you or your significant other kind of do fall into one of those potholes, whether it's finances, whether it's just you like not putting up your end or her not putting up her end, or like Aaron mentioned, the other big breaker of relationships was just cheating. Or so what are your thoughts about resolving those? Is there a way back for those? I know a lot of people that set cheating or those or that type of stuff is the end all be all. That's it. Like I'm done. I'm walking away. I know a lot of people who have an idea in their mind for jobs. It's like, hey, if this guy isn't making this, if this guy isn't getting up and doing something for himself, that's it. Like I'm not waiting for you to be fucking Lawrence to Issa and getting a job. So what are you guys' thoughts on that?
I think that all like depends on the situation and just anything that you're going through in life within like the situation of what it is. It just kind of like shapes your personal response to that. Now, for me personally, in terms of like getting second chances and giving second chances, something that I've learned just from my experiences in life, I've been a self-destructive nigga, so I've like blown up a lot of good shit. So I mean,
self-hate tour coming soon.
No, I'm just making sure I explain.
Self-hate.
No, I'm making sure I explain this correctly.
Right.
as a nigga that's blowing some stuff up just because I ain't know how to talk about it and I ain't like all these stuff you're talking about communication, suck at that sometimes.
Right,
So
a lot of
basically,
niggas do.
yeah. So it's like, I ain't explain it. So rather than just being like, maybe we should just take our time and do something else, I just blew it up so I wouldn't have to feel like quote unquote the bad guy. And then you leave me and it's like, I bet, well, you left me. This is your choice. And sometimes when somebody leaves you and all that type of stuff, you realize you were wrong and you want a second chance. Everybody don't get a second chance. That's just not the way it goes in life. That's just the realistic thing about it.
That's a good point.
So for me, the way I look at it now is as a person that like in the past may have wanted a second chance but didn't get it. I try to be more open to those things now as I've gotten older and be like, hey, sometimes we deal with things, sometimes the way things were done were wrong. Like everybody has different levels of problems, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like I've been in every type of situation where somebody would have wanted a second chance, but just for my personal situations of where I've been in life and just being able to get a second chance or have to give somebody a second chance, I'm more open to that now just because I realize, look, sometimes you want a second chance and you don't get it. So, it sounds stupid as hell, but you pay it forward. Maybe you get a second chance one day because you gave a second chance, or it's like you were open to it and you understood the situation and you tried to live and learn. That's how I kind of look at it. It's just like, look, what would you want from somebody else? Like, everybody has a line. Everybody has a limit. You got to be pushed to that limit in order to see what it is. For everything that I've dealt with in life so far, it hasn't gone to a point where, like, and been like, oh, okay, either I can get a second chance or I can give one to somebody. If it's like, hey, maybe we can try to fix this, try to work on things. So I just really think it's like, it depends on where you are in life and what you've seen and what you're going to accept. Everybody gets second chances and gives them on their own accord. I don't feel like there's any type of uniformity in that. Go ahead.
Yeah, like you said, whether it's, and the cheating thing, like if you're the one who cheated or if you're the one who cheated, you're at the mercy of the other person. At that point, like that person is allowed to do X, Y, Z. They can make any move, whatever. You're not obligated to work things out. It's about what you're comfortable in. I think in general relationships, when you're at a crossroads or you're at a rough patch, whatever you want to do, I think the first thing to look at is what you want to do, right? As opposed to the relationship. When it gets, I guess we're talking about stuff where it gets to the point, it gets to almost a breaking point.
Right.
At that point,
the biggest part.
At that point, man, it's kind of has to be like what is best for you and your mental health, right?
Absolutely.
So if you cheat or you're cheated, if your spouse cheats on you, like again, man, like your spouse, girlfriend, whatever, life partner, whatever, all spectrums here on the Hindation Podcast. Like if someone cheats on you, like that's up to you to decide if that's something you can handle, right? Like I would say I wouldn't make a decision. I wouldn't advise making a decision that day, like. When, you take your partner's phone and, you got dick pics or vagina pics or whatever, I wouldn't say make a decision there. But, and if you sit there and take a breath, think about it and say, shit, I don't know if I can handle that. Well, then, damn, at that point, like, I think you need to communicate. Like, realistically, it's up to you. And, full transparency, like I said, I've had a situation where I've made mistakes in the past, and what I told my girlfriend at the time, I was like, listen, I can't tell you what to do right here. I would love for you to stay. I want that badly, but shit, if you want to leave, I can ask you not to, but like it's your choice. And I did something stupid, so like I'm at the mercy of you right now. Right. And like there's no. You as a society, like in general, I think we have a problem with like just admitting fault or whatever. Like when you fuck up, like there are consequences for your actions, right? You can't fuck up and say, well, it wasn't that. Like when I was confronted with what I did, I was like, shit, I fucked up. I'm sorry. Like it makes me feel, but I can't I can't tell you how to feel, or you know what I mean, try to make you feel bad. Thankfully my fiance didn't leave me, but if she did, like I wouldn't even have felt comfortable begging her because I'm like, damn, dude, like shit, I completely fucked up. I ruined everything. So
this one.
It's like I said, situations are different, man. When we're talking cheating and when we're talking about money stuff, like if you're with somebody and they're broke.
Wait, if you take my money, I'm leaving.
And,
Don't wait 10
Big
months.
facts.
you know, I mean, if it's something, or if it's like it's like the kids thing, like it's up to you to make the best decision for you. That's what my point is from every conversation we have. Like, you it's up to you to do what's best for you. Because at the end of the day, even in a relationship where like it's like 50-50 and all that, like the only person who have the best interest for you at the end of the day is yourself. Like that's just it's human nature it's human nature to kind of look out for number one, even like when you're in a relationship or a marriage or anything. So I don't know. Whenever you guys are, not to say that you guys are, but if you guys are having issues in your relationship, I'm always going to tell you guys, like, do what works for you and what's going to make you happy. So.
Let me add a lens to it too. I know a lot of our parents, well, not everybody's parents, but like a lot of the older generation, they kind of stuck through whatever. Maybe I'm thinking our grandparents' generation, maybe, or some of our parents, but like sticking through whatever years long, 25 years plus, 50 years of marriage and all that stuff, and being with one person. And now, and we're smart enough to know that we're human beings are fucked up. We do dumb shit. We make mistakes. And so with that lens, like added on to it, it's kind of tough for a lot of people in our shoes because like I was saying, we all have our breaking points. We all have things that like, no, we're not. I said I never stand for this. Like I know people who've been through this. I'm not going through this. I'm moving on to the next person. But like at a certain point, it's like when like is there ever a point where we should try like consider sticking it out or like. I know it's different than our parents' generation. Like now we kind of got to move like and look out for our mental health. But at the same time, with long relationships come problems, like as we've all experienced in some form or another. It doesn't always have to lead to the big potholes, like we said, of cheating or money issues. Like y'all could be like on the same page with that type of stuff, but like it could be other things too that y'all go through.
Yeah, I mean, like so, there's nothing wrong with sticking it out. Sticking out is great. It just make sure that's the right. Because I think in the past, prior generations is kind of just we have to stick it out because that's what the Bible said, or that's what our parents said. My mom told me to say.
So you stick out through Pop second family.
Yeah, or whatever. And unfortunately, unfortunately, like let's be honest, it's not we're saying that. It's the women have to say that because women are taught that they have to. Women are taught that they have to get married, and that your value as a woman is only as big. It's only as big as are you married or whatever.
It's only recently that
like
that
I think
started
societally, I think that's just one of the biggest scams of all time. Like marriage is great. Don't get me wrong, what I'm saying, but like you don't have to be married if the situation is called for.
Your success shouldn't be measured by your marriage.
Like I'm watching a show right now called Married at First Sight, and like these people went and just married people. They met these experts and they put them together and they're married now. These people go on the show because they just want to be married. That's just an insane concept to me. That I gotta get married now. Gotta marry.
I don't care. What is it? Something sad to watch.
I mean,
Do you recommend it?
It's like Love at First Sight, but Love at First Sight was better because there's more conflict. This show is a little too sterile and nice for me.
Love is Blind.
Yeah.
Love is Blind.
No, Love is Blind was good, but this one, like, it was a little too.
Thank you. That's all I need to know.
But anyway, like,
go ahead.
But yeah, my point is like, yeah, stick it out if it's work, but don't feel like you're obligated to. In the past, people feel like they're obligated to. Like, again, I mean, like I said, I'm not saying I don't know enough of my family personal history, but just in general, like I know just what the thinking was in the 70s, 80s.
Right.
A lot of people in everybody's family has skeletons. Somebody has done something they weren't supposed to do. Some people have cousins that you don't know why they're cousins, and that you don't know because
they are cousin.
He looks nothing like us. He has blonde hair and blue eyes. I don't understand what he's related to. But my point is, like, women and men didn't have choices back then. We have choices. And if you, and listen, and another thing too, if you cheat on, if your husband cheats on you or your wife cheats on your girlfriend or boyfriend and you stay with them, that's your decision too. Like, another thing, like I said, I see people on Twitter, like, coming at Beyonce or whatever, oh, stayed with, that's her business, man.
Like, be honest, they could be shorty down the block that just like says about her decision to stay and they be like, yo, look, people are allowed to do whatever the hell they want to do. We can't really speak on that all the time. Sometimes people really do, make a mistake, change their actions. That's just what it is. But at the same time, if a woman wants to stay or if a man wants to stay with a woman that may be doing stuff to him, it's just one of those things where it's like, yo, look, You can say your piece,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you may want to. If you know ours is if you know the person, say your piece. But you know, at the end of the day, people make their own decisions, and so it's just one of those things where it's like, yo, look, you can't be mad at somebody if something happens and they choose to go back. Maybe they see something that we just don't. I mean, look, sometimes you got your blinders on when you're in the situation,
Facts.
but
That's a good
but
point.
the biggest thing is we all learn at such different paces. All you can do is hope that things don't become dangerous or anything like that if they choose to stay, and that, you know, things are able to get solved for them if that's what they want. That's just one of those type of things, and you know, like Aaron's saying, I think the biggest thing about today and what we're just learning is, like he said it like 1,000 times, like, yo, we have choices. Like at the end of the day, like we have so many choices on things. We can stay, we can leave, we can do whatever the hell we want. Like back in the day, people probably didn't feel that way. Like back in the day, if you were our age, you probably would have had to be married or figuring that shit out by now. You would have already had to be on top of your grind, had your wife, had your job, had your house. Everything was lined up, all your
the
ducks
first
already
girl,
in a row,
the
bro.
first girl that you met in college or high school, that probably would be your wife. You have 4 kids by
Bro,
now.
you be marrying Cindy, you be having a job at the
Wouldn't even have went
factory.
to college, probably.
You would have met her when she was a nurse while you were in the war. But, you know,
Took way back.
Flip off the feet.
So,
Bruh, it's one of those stupid things. But, you know, nowadays we have choices, and it's just like we can learn and we can do so many things differently than what we've done in the past. And it's just like, yo, it feels good to be able to look at a situation and be like, all right, I don't have to stay here. I can want to stay here. I can want to work with this. I can want to make it better. The want to makes everything so much better. I think that's like the biggest thing with like relationships these days. Things don't have to be have to as much anymore as much as want to. Like, yo, we can want this. We can want to work this out, or I can want to leave. And you can't tell me anything about it because I'm a grown ass man. It's just one of those things, bro. Wow, that was my beauty in this talk right now. You can do whatever the hell you want.
and honestly, I think as the person, like I said, if your spouse wants to leave you, like I said, you can try, obviously you can try to, oh, please don't leave me, whatever. But you have to respect
Go
it.
get her, bro.
You gotta respect the decision. Like that, we gotta stop. Like, go get, like, you can try to call her, whatever, send a text
That's what I'm saying.
message.
If you fucked up, but if she don't,
But like, if she's
don't-
done, and she's telling you you're done, you can, call her, text a few times, whatever. But if it's like, 4 weeks after, you still calling, bro. If she wants to come back to you,
4
she
weeks.
will come back to
bro.
you.
4 weeks.
She will come back to you. I mean, like,
Even if it's like, put it like
Well,
this.
like 4 months.
No, I mean 4 weeks is cool, but just like even if y'all like had contact within the last 4 weeks and you felt like, oh, maybe I have to figure this out. The biggest thing, which is like a benefit, is being able to. I feel like one of the biggest things is like, yo, we live in a society today where we're able to identify so much better the things that we're doing wrong or the things that can end up being quote unquote manipulative.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things we can see that now. Like, I mean, like full disclosure, like when I was like broke up my ex and I was thinking about doing certain stuff, it's like, yo, my cousin was able to tell me what you're doing is manipulative. You need to chill the hell out. It's not right. You can't do that. And it's like, yo, it's true. And it's like one of those things where it's like, yo, we can see so much more stuff now. So it's like, yo, if you, I mean, we're getting off topic a little bit, but it's like, yo, if you hit a rough patch in your relationship, that's fine. But it's just like, we can we can better identify things these days and like, yo, it's okay to make decisions. It's okay to say no. It's okay to not go back to somebody. It's okay to just be done with it. The biggest thing is, like we keep saying, communication. If you can successfully communicate that you're done and you don't want to do this no more, communicate that. That's fine. Do what the hell you want to do. And I think it's like one of the biggest things to just kind of go back to. Do whatever the hell you want. We are all adults. It's 2020. Like, it's a terrible year. But I mean, just in general, like, yo, just be able to say what you want to do and what you don't want to do. Just be open and honest. That's all it comes down to at the end of the day. It's not always easy, to be honest. A lot of us lie. But it's just, yo, say what you want to do.
yeah, like I said, I'm not saying like don't fight for like if you're in a relationship, you're gonna rough patch. That's normal. You can work through it. But I'm just saying like, don't feel obligated that you have to work through things, right? Like I mean, like some people unfortunately equate arguing and fighting as love, and I don't think that's a healthy way of looking at it.
Sometimes shit is actually toxic.
Like with the lady who said the thing about Megan Thee Stallion.
Drea, the lady.
Yeah,
lady.
The light skinned lady.
Yeah, like
A woman who wanted to delete her.
I mean, like obviously, I'm not gonna use an extreme example like someone shooting somebody. That's ridiculous.
That's not love.
But like people equate to physical violence.
Yeah, abusing. Like, he still loves
screaming,
me.
louding.
He's still trying to fight for me.
Arguing like that.
Nah,
right,
shorty.
I mean,
it's not good.
Like we can work through things, but if you're working through shit all the time, and after a while you don't want to work anymore, then I mean, if it's okay to say no.
Right. Yeah. Everybody has
that goes for men and women,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody, whatever you identify with, whatever. But
No one to hold him and one to fold him.
Yeah.
Who said that? George Strait?
Somebody said
Kenny
it.
Rogers.
Thank you.
So, it's a good moral, some summation to the story. I mean, you just gotta know. It's up to you what you feel, what you're comfortable with dealing with, what you're open to dealing with, or if you're willing to fight for it. Some people just can't like bear the thought of just fighting for somebody to put their self pride's sake or whatever, have your ego. Like, well, some people sometimes expect you to forgive on your timetable when it's not on your timetable. It's on the person you hurt's timetable. So I mean, it's all up to you.
And
Like,
some people can't bear to be alone.
yeah, that too.
Yeah,
That
that's
too.
like-
on
that's
the
like
opposite
one
end. Yeah. Yeah. So you got what we always say on here, like you gotta take care of yourself, you gotta take care of your mental, you gotta make sure that you're good, but also you gotta know, like, I don't really subscribe fully to the pros and cons list, but you kind of do have to kind of draw that out sometimes, just to kind of identify, like, if somebody's abusing you, then no, that's not. There's some toxic things that I just can't.
That's
I
my point.
can't see
Like, I mean,
past.
like this
Right.
This is why this is a vast topic. There's no, it's not one size fits all. Like, I mean, like you can name a thousand different scenarios that and those all require different ways of attacking it. Like, if it's something petty, whatever. But if it's something serious or just like half serious, well, all those are different. All those different actions.
Right.
But I mean, that's being in a relationship. There's probably nothing. There's no tougher relationship to go through in life than there is one with significant others. I mean, family is family, right? At the end of the day, most of the time you're going to default to family. But when you're getting in a relationship with a stranger, what they are in the beginning, person that, outside of, oh, I like you, now we're together, like that.
Unless y'all live in West Virginia and y'all related, y'all know each other y'all whole lives. Yeah, that's
Well,
a
cousin
different
friend. That's my cousin friend.
Okay.
Shout out to West Virginia.
Anyway, yeah, so we're definitely gonna bring this plane in for our landing. We did morals, any housekeeping notes that we had before we sign off.
Housekeeping, like it's a meeting.
Yo,
At the end of the day, just basically the biggest things would always be, everybody has to do what's best for them. Even within our 4 different situations, they're completely different. We couldn't even give each other like full on great advice because we all live different lives, even within those type of things. So just the understanding that your situation is unique and just understanding that you always have to do what's best for you at the end of the day. If you're able to work things out, awesome. If you're not. No hard feelings. That's life. That's life. But anyway, it's just one of those things. So it's just all songs from Team Out even drinking. But always do what's best for you. I think that's like the biggest takeaway from all this.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a tip to the dudes or women who kind of are in the I fucked this up situation. I mean, I just think that it's important. Like, if you accountability is something that I think sometimes gets lost with stuff like that. We're like I said, like, when we make a mistake, we expect people to forgive us in a certain time after we've done certain things. Like, hey, I begged, I've reduced myself to this. Like, I thought I'd never do this, but I'm doing this for you. You should forgive me and take me back now. And we expect things to go in our favor. But in relationships and in life in general, I mean, like, you can't always expect when you make a mistake that somebody's gonna be in the opposite end, like, oh, like, come here to pick you up. Like, sometimes they'll push you down, or sometimes they just walk away from you and you're stuck there. But I think taking those in stride, I know it's tough. Like Aaron says, no other relationship that kind of like brings somebody's as vulnerable as you with your significant other. That kind of like it brings a lot out of you to go through. So I think it's important to I love my train of thought. But
Sorry, keep going.
yeah, but just stick through it, man. If it's for you, if it's for you, stick through it. If not, then
It's for you. It's for you.
right. It's for you.
No, it's job like
It's
You know what I'm saying? Get the glissies.
Get the glitters. My biggest thing, my tip is it's gonna be don't make knee jerk reaction decisions.
Okay,
I know a lot of emotion, like the fellas said, like there's a lot of emotion to go into a relationship, especially when you're giving your all, you love that person. Don't make a decision that's going to impact, something that's just in the instant. That means you.
It depends.
If you both gotta walk away and take a step back and then come back at it at a later date when both cool heads prevail. But at that point you also gotta look at how did they get to this point? Was it because we didn't communicate enough? Was it that there was things that were bothering me and I didn't bring it to the forefront quick enough? And was it things for you that was for the other significant other that they didn't bring to the forefront. So it's just about having an open line of communication is what's going to minimize those rough patches, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, again, the knee-jerk reaction, I mean, depends on the situation. I mean, like, if like there's physical abuse going on or there's sometimes like I think maybe at that point, like I think it's just best to cut bait. But everybody's situation is different.
Right.
And again, like I said, like you can't tell it. I can't tell people how to live their life and decisions to make. I mean, again, I think in a relationship, and this changes, like where there's kids involved, when there's business involved, money involved, like that can change. But I think your partner, especially if it's your fiance, wife, that should be the most important person to you. But I will always say that you have to make sure you're good and your interests, interests are the most important thing that are going on. So, I mean, yeah, that's a long way to say a bunch of nothing, as my grandpa used to say. But
a bunch of nothing.
It's a long way to say a bunch of nothing, boy.
Damn, that's smooth.